Hello everyone. Welcome to PP English Learning and Conversation. Today in this video you are going to learn how to frame WH questions. Frame WH questions is a popular term in English grammar. It is asked in almost all exams of any class, even in competitive examinations. In this case, mostly the statement is given with underlined part and the instruction is frame WH questions to get underlined part as an answer. Here, to frame WH questions, you need to understand what are the different WH words and what are the different structures that can be used to frame WH questions. WH words are also known as interrogative words, or we can also call question words. So, now you will understand what are the different WH words and the structures to form WH questions. First, let us understand WH family. The different WH words are who, what, when, where, whom, which, whose, why, how. The most important thing is that to know usage of all these WH words. Let us begin with who. Who is used to ask about a person or people. This WH word tells us about who did the action. Usually, subject of the statement is an answer. Next WH word, whom. Whom is used to ask about a person. It is usually an object of the statement. Next, what. What is used to ask for information. It is used to ask for specific thing or object. Next WH word is when. When is used to ask the time of an event or action. It is used to ask about time of any occasion or moment. Whenever you want to know the time of a particular event or when something has happened. Next WH word is where. Where is used to ask for the location or. Next WH word which. Which is used to ask about choice or option. It is all about selection of a particular thing. Next WH word is who. Whose is used to show possession. Next WH word why. Why is used to ask for a reason or cause. It is used to seek explanation about something. The last WH word is how. How is used to explain a process or procedure. It is usually used to ask for manner or method. This WH word, that is how, starts with H and ends with W, but it is also called a WH word. How is used with many other words like how much, how many, how long, how far, how old, etc. How much and how many are used to talk about quantity, that is about price. We use how many with countable nouns like book, children, toys, ideas, clothes, etc. And how much is used with uncountable nouns like water, oil, juice, sand, etc. How long is used to know about duration or time period, and how far is used to know distance, that is physical distance. How old is used to know about age. So this is all about WH words and their usage. Second thing about WH questions is to know about different structures. Now let us understand what are the different structures that we can use to frame WH questions. The first structure, WH word plus an auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining part of the sentence. Here, in the case of an auxiliary verb, we can use to be forms like am, is, are, was, were, shall, will. To do forms like do, does, did. to have forms like have, has, had, and modal verbs like can, may, could, would, might. But in the case of how much, how many, which, and whose, we need to use noun after WH word. That means WH word will follow the noun. For example, WH word plus noun plus an auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining part of the sentence, and at the end you have to put question mark. Second structure of forming WH question is WH word plus an auxiliary verb or main verb plus subject plus remaining part of the sentence. At the end you have to put question mark. Here in the case of this structure, sometimes an auxiliary verb and sometimes main verb is used according to the need and purpose. The third structure of forming WH question is WH word plus an auxiliary verb plus main verb plus subject plus remaining part of the sentence, and at the end question mark. While framing WH question, first we have to select appropriate WH word and use it at the beginning of the question. Then use an appropriate helping verb or auxiliary verb like am, is, are, was, were, shall, will, do, does, did, have, has, had, modal auxiliaries like can, may, could, would, should, etc. Then main verb and remaining part of the sentence. Now let us frame WH questions using appropriate WH words and the structures that we discussed. You have to keep in mind that WH questions are asked to get information about someone or something. Let us understand WH questions with the help of the examples. The first example, India got freedom in 1947. The underlined part is in 1947. Now we have to frame WH question to get the underlined part as an answer. The first thing is that we need to select use appropriate WH word and follow the first structure, that is WH word plus helping verb or auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining part of the sentence, and at the end question mark. Here the underlined part is in 1947. So it is all about time of an event. So when is the WH word which is appropriate to frame WH question? Let us begin WH question with WH word, that is when. Then use appropriate auxiliary verb, subject, main verb, remaining part of the sentence. Here main verb is in simple past tense. That means second form of the verb is used, that is got. Based on the main verb, we need to use to do form, that is did. After auxiliary verb did, use subject of the statement, then main verb. Here main verb should be used in the first form because already did is used to indicate simple past tense. So the answer will be when did India get freedom? Question mark. Second example, World War II ended in 1945. The underlined part is in 1945. The same rule is applicable in this case as well. Let us begin WH question with WH word, appropriate WH word, that is when, because it is all about time. WH word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining part if any, then at the end question mark. So the answer will be when did World War II end? Here the main verb should be used in the first form. Next example, students went to the Red Fort. The underlined part is the Red Fort. Now, let us frame WH questions with appropriate WH word and the structure. The underlined part is all about place. So, the place indicating WH word is where. In the given statement, went is second form of the verb. That means it is in simple past tense. So, here we have to use an auxiliary verb did. So, the answer will be where did students go? Question mark. Next example. Great Wall of China is located in northern China. The underlined part is northern China. So, the underlined part is all about location, that is place. So, here appropriate WH word is where, as where is used to indicate about place or location. In this case, auxiliary verb or helping verb is already present in the statement, that is. So, let us use auxiliary verb after WH word. Where is the Great Wall of China located? Question mark. Here, the verbs are used as it is to maintain the tense of the statement. Next example. He needs bread. The underlined part is bread. Now, let us frame WH question. Here, we need to use WH word what, as what is used to seek information or to know about specific thing. The main verb, that is needs, is in simple present tense, and the simple present tense auxiliary verbs are do or does. Here does is appropriate auxiliary verb as yes is added at the end of the main verb. Let us begin WH question with WH word, then auxiliary verb, then subject, then main verb. The answer is what does he need? In this case we have to remove yes added at the end of the main verb, as already does is the auxiliary verb used in the sentence. Next example, she taught me to read. The underlined part is to read. Let us frame WH question with appropriate WH word, that is what. The answer is what did she teach me? Did is the auxiliary verb used based on the main verb which is in simple past tense. And then second form of the main verb should be converted into first form of the main verb. The next example. The lion wanted to have peace and tranquility in his kingdom. The underlined part is peace and tranquility. The question is, what did the lion want to have in his kingdom? Question mark. Next example, teacher gave instructions to Rohan. The underlined part is Rohan. To get the underlined part as an answer, let us frame WH question. Whom did teacher give instructions? Question mark. Here we have used WH word whom, as whom is used to ask about a person. Next example. Doctor advised Sumit to be cautious about his health. The underlined part is Sumit. To get the underlined part as an answer, let us frame WH question. Whom did doctor advise? Main verb should be used in the first form of the verb, as already did is used to maintain the tense. Next example, he likes red color. The underlined part is red color. So, to get underlined part as an answer, let us frame WH question. First, select appropriate WH word, that is which is usually used to ask about choice or option. Then, simple present tense auxiliary verbs do or does. In the case of third person singular pronoun, does is an appropriate auxiliary verb. So, the answer will be, which color does he like? We need to remove yes from the main verb. Next example. Nasik is situated on the bank of the river Godavari. The underlined part is Nasik. To get the underlined part as an answer, let us frame WH question. Which city is situated on the bank of the river Godavari? Question mark. Here we have used the structure WH word plus noun plus helping verb plus main verb plus remaining part of the statement. Next example. I find Mr. Kulkarni's class interesting. The underlined part is Mr. Kulkarni's. Here it is all about possession. So, whose is an appropriate WH word? Answer is, whose class do you find interesting? Question mark. The WH word whose is used along with the noun. The structure we have followed here is WH word plus noun plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remaining part of the statement. At the end, question mark. Next example. He was disappointed because he could not reach there in time. The underlined part is because he could not reach there in time. The underlined part is all about reason. So, why is an appropriate WH word to frame WH questions? Answer is, why was he disappointed? The structure we have followed is WH word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. Next example. The American Civil War occurred over the moral issue of slavery. The underlined part is over the moral issue of slavery. The underlined part is all about reason or cause. We are seeking explanation about something. So, why is appropriate WH word to frame WH question? Answer is, why did the American Civil War occur? Question mark. Next example. She speaks English fluently. The underlined part is fluently. The underlined part is all about manner or method. So, how is an appropriate WH word? The answer is, how does she speak English? Here, you have to keep in mind that if helping verb is not available in the statement, then we have to use auxiliary verbs like do, does, did based on the main verb. Next example. It will take 4 hours. The underlined part is 4 hours. It is all about duration or time period. So, how long is an appropriate WH word to frame WH question? Answer is, how long will it take? The structure we have followed is how long plus helping verb plus subject plus main verb at the end question mark. Next example. There are 3 cars. The underlined part is 3 cars. Let us frame WH question to get the underlined part as an answer. It is all about countable nouns. So, how many is an appropriate WH word? How many cars are there? Question mark. Next example. I am 22 years old. The underlined part is 22 years old. As the underlined part is all about age, so how old is an appropriate WH word? The answer is, how old are you? The structure we have followed is WH word plus helping verb plus subject. At the end, question mark. Next example. India has 2 Cricket World Cup. The underlined part is 2 Cricket World Cup. As it is all about countable nouns, how many Cricket World Cups does India have? Here, has is playing the role of the main verb. Based on the main verb, we have used simple present tense to do form, that is does and have. Next example. Anjali prepared the breakfast. The underlined part is Anjali. To get the underlined part as an answer, WH question is, who prepared the breakfast? At the end, question mark. Next example. The capital of France is Paris. The underlined part is Paris. Answer is, what is the capital of France? Here we have followed the structure WH word plus auxiliary verb plus subject at the end question mark. Next example. My examination is at 11 a.m. The underlined part is 11 a.m. So it is all about time. When is WH word used to indicate time? When is your exam? Or it can also be at what time is your exam? Next example. Her house is at the bank of the river. The underlined part is at the bank of the river. This is all about location. So, where is appropriate WH word? Where is her house? Here we have followed the structure of WH word plus auxiliary verb plus subject at the end question mark. Next example. The book on the table is mine. The underlined part is the book. Which book on the table is yours? Here we have followed the structure of WH word plus noun plus auxiliary verb plus subject. Next example. Skin is the most sensitive organ in our body. The underlined part is skin. Which is the most sensitive organ in our body? Next example. It is my turn. The underlined part is my turn. The question is, whose turn is it? Here we have followed WH word plus noun plus auxiliary verb plus subject at the end question mark. Next example. I am happy because I scored good marks in the final exam. The underlined part is because I scored good marks in the final exam. The question is, why are you happy? Next example. There were 6 members in the committee. The underlined part is 6 members. The underlined part is to know about countable nouns. So, how many members were there in the committee? Here we have followed WH word plus noun plus auxiliary verb plus subject at the end question mark. Next example. J.K. Rowling is the author of the Harry Potter book series. The underlined part is J.K. Rowling. WH question is, who is the author of the book, the Harry Potter book series? Next example. Draupadi Murmu is the 15th and current president of India. The underlined part is Draupadi Murmu. To get the underlined part as an answer, let us frame WH question. Who is the 15th and current president of India? Who is the WH word is used to know about the person. The structure we have used is WH word plus auxiliary verb plus subject at the end question mark. So, framing WH questions. Here I have tried my level best to explain you what are the WH words and what are the structures that we can use to frame WH questions. Thank you.